Greetings, everyone out there in I was gonna say Facebook land, but unfortunately, we're not on Facebook today.
Yes,
But
we are.
okay, well, yes, we are, according to Jasmine. Welcome to our second, not first, but our second Zoom webinar for the ladies and whoever else decides to chime in. You know, if you're interested, go ahead on because it's a good topic for men and women and anybody else in between. I'm glad to say that I have Carissa and Jasmine on here with us again today. This is Rebirth Holistic Healing second webinar conference. And the topic today is going to be on forgiveness. Yes, forgiveness is a very tricky word. Some people call it a cuss word. Some people just don't like it, period. But one thing I will say is it's where you are in life. There's no good, there's no bad, there's no right, there's no wrong. But there's always something to learn and grow with. So with that being said, I'm going to turn over to our facilitator, Carissa Guyton, and here we go.
All right, so we have a lot of material to cover tonight. I hope everyone is ready for this. Should we go around and introduce ourselves? I'm Carissa. I'll be your moderator, chime-in person tonight. We're going to try to keep it down to about an hour. My background is in, of course, social work. I think I said last time I worked on a ward. Been doing this since 2008. I'm currently in pursuit of a master's degree in clinical psychology. And that is it about me.
Hi, everybody. I am Jasmine Jackson. I am a personal trainer, life coach. Y'all do everything, but I also am working in behavioral health as well. And I am the owner of Goddess Lane Consulting.
Okay, and everyone, as you all know, that I am Coach Melvie. That you also know me as everyone knows me as Coach Melvie, put it like that. But I'm also a minister, a certified licensed minister. I'm also a master Reiki healing practitioner. I'm also I have a master's in metaphysics. I have a master's in management. I work in a lot of different fields regarding healing and counseling, as well as a life coach. So with that, there you go.
I got degrees too, y'all. I got a master's degree too. Just I didn't put that out there, you know.
Some kind of degree
about their
going
master's
on.
degree.
Help, a degree of life. How about that? Shit,
Exactly.
that's enough. Oh, I done cussed. All right, I'm trying to keep the cussing down.
Oh,
That's that red wine, so we're gonna leave that alone.
Be you, boo. Be you.
So disclaimers for tonight. Anybody have any personal disclaimers?
Shoot, you go for it, Court. One thing I want to say, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there. Again, I'm going to say it like I just said it. There is no right. There is no wrong. And how do they say it on commercials? The views of this program is not necessarily the views of everyone involved in this program. So there's no pointing no finger here. There's just love. There's just figuring out where you are in this and seeing what fits for you. You know, there's no judgment on here. It's just love.
7:10.
And that's okay. I'm good.
So, like I said last time, we do know and understand that there are certain disorders that would have people thinking that we are personally speaking to them and their issues, and we are not. We may share some things on here that have happened in our life, but it's nothing personal to anyone. We're not exploiting anyone. We're not trying to take advantage of anyone. We do understand that religion is a touchy subject for some people, and we do 100% understand that Bible fighting is for the immature Christian or immature spiritual person, period. So that's not something we're going to convey on here at all. If there's something you don't agree with spiritually, then we just ask that you kind of search your own heart with it. This is not a blame game. Nobody has to be wrong for you to be right. This is just a discussion. We're just going to speak concepts. We're not coming to any conclusions for you. We're just going to put some things out here that can help you come to some conclusions. Like, that's it. That's all for my disclaimer. So the topic tonight is forgiveness. And that is something I deeply struggle with. I have just a different concept that I live by than, I guess, normal people. How do you guys feel about just the word, just hearing the word when somebody has done something to you?
Hmm.
I always say, don't be sorry. Apologize to me. Don't be sorry, because I feel when people say sorry, they be sorry as hell. Don't say sorry to me. You need to apologize, just in general. Like, if you're really gonna apologize and you really seeking forgiveness, then you should go about it a certain way. That's how I feel.
I honestly feel that, gosh, I don't even know if the word sorry comes into play. I just feel that for me personally, I think that in order to be able to move forward, there are some things you need to let go. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not as easy letting go as it is, you know, it's as you say it is, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to be able to look at that situation. And for me, forgiveness is a place of peace or release for me, not so much for them, because you can't control how a person acts, how they're going to be in the future or whatever. But for me, I needed to be released from it myself.
Okay. So forgiveness is the word in itself is pretty much just means let go, correct?
I
I
would look
think
at
we
it
can
like
all
that.
agree on that. And to let go, you don't necessarily need somebody else approval, validation, or
Exactly.
even an apology. I
Basically.
mean, it's possible. So some of the steps, do you think that some offenses are worse than others? Do you think that everything can be forgiven? You know how some people be like, that's above me? I feel like that sometimes when people have offended me in certain ways. I think that most things are forgivable in time, but there's some stuff that I feel is above me. And I feel that's where kind of religion plays into the thing there, because it's like, okay, well, we got Christ who died for us and took on all this. And so that's where I say that's above me. You're going to have to go above me to get your redemption and your forgiveness from a higher power. I'm just not that powerful myself to, endure what he endured to give forth that kind of forgiveness to somebody. I mean, that's pretty much my concept on it. But
I would
anybody else?
understand. I can understand it coming from that standpoint.
Yep.
I truly can, because some people, sometimes you're not strong enough to be able to
Right.
let go. And I think even with other things in life, I think that there are some things, I think that if we were to go to that higher power period for everything in life, which is what we're supposed to do anyway. And that's just like going back and saying, say for instance, someone says, thank you for doing blah, 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 or I give you, minister, if we were to go into the area or arena of spirituality and pastors and preachers, they'd be like, oh, the pastor this and he helped me to, well, technically it really wasn't the pastor. It was God in the pastor that transmitted that information through that person, used that person as that conduit to release that information. So when you look at it from that standpoint and what you just said, I would totally agree, because yes, forgiveness in a human standpoint, we're not able sometimes to be able to do it, but the God in us, that higher power, I believe that that's the thing that's really helping us through getting to that point of forgiveness until we can get to that point, if we get to that point. But we know if we've given it to God, then you can make it through.
Hmm. So what do you consider something that's like unforgivable? Like not to your person, but just it can be general as well.
Gosh, I don't know how to
I know
answer.
I know from one perspective, I know like for families whose family member has been murdered or hurt or something, that's probably a forgiveness that is not easily above me. Like I feel that, because that's just something like if you take a family member or hurt somebody close, I'm pretty sure that that's one of those situations where it's above me now.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said it's a hard one, because when you're, it's just like when you see a lot of things happening now with people, you're like, okay, and it doesn't affect you until it's actually part of your family. You can sympathize with someone else or whatever, but then it's like, now it's me. you can't possibly, you can empathize, but you know, when it's you, it's all you. You know, then
Right.
that's all about what you feel here, and it gets hard. You got to
Yeah.
fight a whole bunch of different emotions. You
So
know.
I think that like when we approach forgiveness, it has to really be after we have taken the journey to get over it. Because if you are trying to push this narrative of forgiveness before you're over it, you're not going to forgive anybody, not for real. And that I feel like if you're trying to say that, oh, you got to forgive because that's what the Bible says, then you're not really being truthful to yourself either. Because all you're saying is I forgive, but you haven't done anything. What are you forgiving?
Right.
Because sometimes when you do that self-work, you actually figure out what really was the cause that made you this mad at this person, or what did this person do? Because sometimes it's not always cut and paste. So I think like before you can even offer or try to go through the journey of forgiveness, you gotta get through that thing emotionally first, because if not, what are you really forgiving? Are you really reaching that more mature, happier, peaceful self? Or are you just putting on because God said you're supposed to forgive?
Good point.
Gotta work
And
that thing on out.
and I think that's exactly where a lot of people are. You know, because of a lot of people say, quote unquote, the Bible says, and you know, you're messing with emotions now, and that's a part of healing. You can't expect to just rush someone into healing when
Just
they're
because
not
the Bible said.
exactly. You know, that's
Okay.
that's where
So, yeah.
that's yeah.
Or just
Okay.
because you want somebody to
Get
be
over
in
it.
your face again. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes
So,
they,
yeah.
they, they can mess your bond up. And you just saying sorry because you want me and you to be friends. And friend, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, not even
I'm
mess
sorry.
your mind up, but just completely mess up your spirit. We're talking about religious dogma here, where people are using it to shame and guilt you into something that you are emotionally and mentally not ready for. And that's
Exactly.
very dangerous. And I've come across that a lot in my life, where people just do the most heinous things to people, and they're drilling the other person. Well, if you don't forgive, and if God said, and God, I've seen people like statutory rape, pastors statutory rape children, and then use that religious dogma to bring their flock back
Yeah.
into that, cover up for them, so that they don't get arrested, so they can continue this relationship with a minor. This is a personal story from my childhood, honestly. And so since that, I was given that example very early in my life. And since that, I'm very careful with believing when it comes to religion and forgiveness, because I've seen it used in a way that was just most evil.
Right.
And so it's just like, wow,
Even if you were to take it out of that, you know, you have some people who feel like they're not even in the religious arena. They're just like, okay, how long are you
get
gonna keep,
over it.
because they don't want
Yeah.
to, they don't understand what you're going through, and
Mhm.
they just, like you said, Jazz, they just want to get back to the way things were. You know, they want to be happy, happy, joy, joy around you, but it's like right now I'm not feeling that, so they want you to hurry up and get over it.
Yeah.
Just let it go, move on. Okay, that's not that easy, because you don't know how deep the wound is. You don't know what triggers that wound came from. You know what things came on top of that. It could be
Mhm.
tumultuous. Seriously.
And I think that's why when someone says, God said you need to forgive, I think that we all need to say, I'm not God, friend. Go
Yeah,
talk to him. Go talk to him about it.
that's
Because I'm
right.
not
That's
there yet,
right.
friend. It's gonna take me a minute. Because see, Jesus, he held the cross down. He did that thing. But let me tell you something. I am flesh and blood and petty. I can't forgive you when you want me to. I'm not on your time.
Yeah.
That's important to understand and to have those boundaries in place to say that. Like, friend, I'm I'm Jasmine. I'm Coach Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the most high friend. I'm not. And be okay with even if you are the person that did something to somebody, and you just got to know, like, this takes time, whatever it is, because if we go back to our first episode, we were talking about that trauma. And what if something that they did triggers that trauma? You're not God friend. You got to let people go through that thing.
Exactly. It's a process. It definitely is.
So I have something called 9 steps to forgiveness. And the first step is to know exactly how you felt about what happened, which is basically what we were just saying. And be able to articulate and understand and emotionalize yourself about the situation. Was it okay? Was it not okay? And then to tell trusted people about your situation for validation. So that's the first step.
Okay.
With that step, I think that a coaching tool could be, is that's when you begin to journal, because it could be hard to articulate through words and actions. And if you're journaling, if you can journal, you get it better. You can write that out. And then if it does come time to have that conversation, revert back to, your raw emotions, and really, you can clean it up when you're talking to them, but you can get it all out by just writing it down.
Right.
And so I think that's a good tool to use if you are trying to, get a little bit of forgiveness. Write out how you feel and what and why it made you feel that way, so you can express that to whoever that person is. Or it could also be helpful because you may not have to express it to that person, because there's sometimes where, like you said, they may not apologize. So I think journaling right now and getting those emotions out would be awesome.
Not only that, but allowing a person to be able to be angry and hurt. Give them that time to feel that, because it's something that's real. It's a part of who we are, because otherwise we wouldn't have it. It's an experience to be experienced for a reason, to learn from it, but to take it away from someone is to say, okay, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's who I am. It's who we all are. To act like it doesn't exist is a lie. So if you're angry about it, if you're hurt about it, that would go along with the journaling, if you're angry, write it out. If you got to cuss a million words, cuss it out. Hey, do what you got to do, but allow it.
Yeah.
Number 2, make a commitment to yourself to do what you have to do to feel better. I think the important thing in this is self. It doesn't involve anyone else but yourself. Yeah.
Always.
And I'm actually going through a forgiveness thing, and this week was kind of rough for me. And you know what? I didn't work out this week. I am usually keto Monday through Friday, and then the weekends I have my cheat days. But y'all, I ate what I wanted, and it just took the weight off. It just took the weight off. When you're having that rough moment, and sometimes, and like I said, I'm a trainer, and and I'm a health coach and a nutrition coach, and I do teach to eat clean and all of that stuff. But this week, friend, I was like, I don't need to try to control everything. I'm about to eat this hot Cheeto, friend. And that's my damn business.
Not the hot Cheeto.
And they were delicious.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
You gotta, because sometimes you can get so consumed with fixing you or fixing it. And sometimes it's like, it's okay to take a break, sis. Like, I feel like we're in the middle of a pandemic. We're all working. Well, most of us are working from home. Some of us have kids. And then you got trying to stay fit, healthy, not get corona, and forgive, and
Yeah, it's a bit much. It's a bit much.
Let yourself
hit the wine. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. All right. Number 3 is the forgiveness is for you and not anyone else.
Truth.
Forgiveness does not necessarily mean reconciliation. I'm gonna stop
True.
there. There's a little bit more to this, but I want to stop right there about that reconciliation. Because, baby, people will have you out here thinking that forgiveness means that you got to run back to the person, you got to reconcile it, you got to.
No.
No,
No.
you don't. I'm giving any and everybody on here permission today to understand you don't have to reconcile nothing with nobody, especially somebody that has done you gross harm or gross harm to your life, your person, your psyche, your body, your finances, in any way that what they call the devil comes and steals, kills, and destroys. If any way somebody has done those things to you, other than the fruit of the spirit, you don't have to reconcile with that person. That person is intently focused on destroying you. Take care of yourself, period. Like, no reconciliation with a lot of people.
And you know what the sad truth is that when people do things to you, they be doing that shit on purpose sometimes. A lot of things that people do are intentional.
That's right.
It is not a bunch of people accidentally ripping your heart out. That's not an accident, friend. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's why you have to have the self-worth and the self-knowledge, and like you said, that self-care, that selfishness that I was talking about earlier this week, to understand that you don't always gotta, you don't need no closure. I'm sorry. No, you don't. No, you don't need no closure. You can get through it and you do not have to reconcile. You can forgive for yourself and move on. You don't have to sit around with people who knowingly do things to you, and because you reconcile one time, they're gonna do it again.
That's absolutely. Some people are just inherently evil, and that's something that we have to just really understand. So
I
the
agree
other
with that.
part of this is let's see, where am I? So it could be defined as peace and understanding that come from blaming that which hurt you less, taking the life experience less personally and changing your grievance story. So what they're talking about there is like going through the process of it yourself without reconciling with the person, because reconciling with the person, like we said, sometimes can be extremely dangerous. Some people just want to reconcile with you so they can finish you off, where this is allowing you some time to, change your story, relive that experience, hopefully in a positive way, so that's not leaving some kind of trauma in your brain.
I would agree with that. I would also say, I think I like the fact that, going to what you said some people, both of you said, even when making your comment, Jasmine, both of you guys said some people, because when you think about the some people that are doing that, the people that know they're doing it, they know they're doing it because they don't know any other way to do it, because that's just who they are. They're programmed to be that way for some strange cotton picking reason. I don't know why. I'm about to figure it out. But there are some people who don't even realize it. I mean, some people know what they're doing. I give you that. But there are some people who don't even realize they're doing it. They're doing it because they're just programming, for real. And it's really unfortunate because they've been so indoctrinated into doing it till they don't even realize that they need to come out of it and get the healing that they need to be able to stop doing what they're doing to hurt other people because they've been so hurt or whatever. People's brains just snap sometimes.
Be messing up that damn amygdala. Telling you, trauma mess up the amygdala. It don't work the right way after it's traumatized.
That's right. You'd be a whole new person, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hello. Exactly.
Yes.
But this is what I'm gonna say to that, man. I'm gonna be honest. Just because you traumatized don't mean I gotta be your damn friend. I don't want to deal with that. Because the thing is that some people are brought up on survival and not love, and they just trying to get by.
Right.
And those people you can forgive and you can move on and all of that, and they may not know that they're doing that, but I'm for darn sure not gonna give them another chance to come and do it again, because pessimists don't know they pessimists, right? I mean, not pessimists, but what is it? Not pessimists. Narcissists don't know that they narcissists. But that don't mean I want to date you. I can't go back, friend. I'm sorry that you don't know that you toe up, but I did figure it out, and no, ma'am, it's a no for me, dog.
That was my point. I think that's what I was trying to say. I'm sorry, that was just what I was trying to say, that, just because that doesn't mean you have to keep getting kicked in the head by it. You know what I'm saying?
Don't be kicked.
And see, and Carissa, that's her topic right there. She's like heavily.
That's why I'm glad you stopped me, because I was about to go in on that thing, and I'm
She
like, okay,
was.
that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show. But
Leave
what I'm
that
trying to
alone.
say about it is, people do know. Some narcissists absolutely know they're narcissists, and they like to exploit people. They believe that what they're doing is powerful, and they have such a neediness and a pathology of malignant that they just, it is what it is to them. They believe that everybody's like them. And so what they're doing to other people doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? And those are the ones you got to stay away with. Those are the ones you don't want to reconcile with, because they will finish you off and kill you just for fun.
Take you completely out.
Like, finish her.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so number 4, get the right perspective on what's happening. Recognize that your primary distress is coming from hurt feelings. And this is, again, a self thing. So how you deal with disappointment is the growth that you have to get out of this. Thoughts on how you've been physically upset? How are you suffering now? What were you offended by? And how are you going to reconcile your own feelings? So that's like a thought perspective and the steps to forgiveness.
It's like, it's always a journey. And when it's so crazy, because life, you go through so many different journeys while you on this one damn journey of life. Okay. Forgiveness is one of those things where it really is touch and go. It really depends on where you were in your life and what that person did to you, and if you felt it was intentional.
Yeah.
Because when you feel like there was intention behind it, that's going to be a harder like, that's a harder journey. That's a harder. I was just saying that, like, breakups, right, are like mourning. You be mourning during a breakup. You know what I'm saying? But the difference between it is that they are walking around and they not dead, okay, friend? But you still mourning them, and you still can't, interact with them. And then so when you're even going through that, you're going through this stage of forgiveness, and you got to really realize, like, what was their mess and what was your mess, and can you forgive yourself for what you did during that mess? Because if you don't even acknowledge your part, or what your character flaws, then even forgiving them won't matter, because you still won't grow from this situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Coach Jasmine got a word for you tonight, friend.
Yes, wait a minute. That's my point. I mean, for real. Okay. Hold on just a second, y'all. Keep talking. I got to do something right quick. Hold on.
No, it's okay. Denise, are you there?
I'm still here.
Okay, put your can you put your mic on or what is it, mute? Number 5, at the moment you feel upset, practice simple stress management techniques to soothe your body's flight or fight response.
That's y'all amygdala, y'all. Just in case y'all don't know, y'all. I know. I mean, the brain is. I like that. I like the brain. I need people to know how much your brain be affected by certain things.
Yeah.
At that moment, I mean, you can do a redirection. You can do, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I know you probably heard of this, Carissa, where you do look at 5 different things. You can smell what different 4 things can you smell? What 3 different things can you touch? Using all your senses with the 5 things, y'all, that'll ground you in itself. I'm trying to told you, I have been in a full-blown panic attack and have had, so tell me 5 things you can see. Just your mind averting, because you really gotta really look and seeing things, it'll really calm you down. So that's a good one, Carissa. That's a really good one, because sometimes you do have to like people think like counting backwards when they angry, like these are all cliche. But I'm here to tell you.
No, that's real. That's real deal.
These things really help. And I am blackity black, black, black. And I'm telling you it works. Because that be the thing. It be black folk who act like, mindfulness techniques don't work. But those things have saved me at 30. I'm serious. Like, you got to take a moment and get mindful, friend. So I love number 5. I love that because you really got to find some stress techniques, or you can hire me or Mel as your life coach and we'll help you.
That's right. Or, this is also an opportunity to figure out which one you operate in. Do you operate in flight or do you operate in fight?
Yeah.
There could be some primitive emotions that you're dealing with from childhood if you're still constantly in the flight, which is just being loud and obnoxious and wanting to fight and just, being childish and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're too passive or you're constantly running away from something, then flight is going to be your main response. But either way, it's still about self, figuring out like what
I'm a little bit of fight. I don't know if y'all can tell. I'm a little bit of fight. I'm going to throw hands with it. I'm going to throw hands with whatever situation is coming my way. I ain't running from nothing because sometimes running just elongates a situation. Don't run. Y'all, if you're watching, don't run. Now, if it's a violent situation, you can run. But then you go and solve it real quick, and then that's fighting a little bit. But other than that, just really take on your issues head on. I mean, this hard, it's difficult. You may cry. It may be, it may be a lot, but I find that when people take control of the situation versus run from the situation, they end up more whole. And that's what it's about. You being whole.
That's right.
I will say that's true because I've had situations in my own life where I've had to, actually the situations that I've been through in my life, I've had to fight. I've had to fight because I was made to fight. Because I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't a confrontational person. I took it all. You said what you said to me, you did what you did to me, and I'm just like, I just ran or I dealt with it. But then eventually a person gets, some people, I don't know, wherever you fall in, get to that point where you're like, okay, I'm over this.
Yep.
I'm over you.
Yep.
And what you get is what you get. So don't pitch a fit. Because it might not come out, you know how they tell you to say things in love and say things, the political way, but after a while, political and love ain't in the, I'm sorry. You might get a few couple words from me that might not even be in my vocabulary.
I'm from East Orange, New Jersey, so you
know. So
I'm from East Orange, New Jersey, so it's coming out. It's going to be all types of cuss words.
It just depends on how far you pushed me, because I'm going to give you that warning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a warning, and if you don't catch it, then you're gonna get the other side. And I've had to live that with my life, where I just can't deal. So I'm gonna either, if I can flight in peace, I'm gonna flight, and I ain't gotta deal with you no more. But if I gotta sit there and fight, because I've been pushed in the corner so many times. And it gets to the point, it's like, I'm over this. I'm tired of people just feeling that they can say and do and push wherever they want to. And then when you push back, they go, oh, where'd all that come from? I tried to told you.
Yeah. It happens like that sometimes. You give people that warning. And
it be like that.
Top off. So, all right. Number 6, giving up expectations from other people, which is pretty much what we just talked about. Number 7, put your energy into looking for another way to get your positive goals met. So this is pretty much, all of these are about self. Like all of this, the steps for forgiveness ain't got nothing to do with nobody else but you.
Exactly.
But you, period.
Yep. And that's the biggest thing. And people don't want to get themselves together, not for real. Like,
no,
how many times have you met a person and they say they want to change and they say they want to do different things and they say and they do, but they never do? I mean, and by the time they say it for the 5th time, you like, okay, friend. Yeah, like, okay.
Yeah.
It just seems that it always comes back to self. Like, if you start worrying about what the next person doing, you'll be all right with yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
And just in general, like, you know, like that just applies to so many different subjects. But right now we on forgiveness. But if you just worry about your damn self, I'm just saying, worry about yourself. And what that little
Like that
girl
little
said.
baby said. Yeah.
Worry about yourself. Exactly. Take that
Yeah.
through life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Worry about yourself. And then you'll be able to do the self work.
There it is.
There it is,
Preaching.
right there in a nutshell.
Preaching. I'm preaching tonight, y'all. I'm Rev Coach Jasmine.
Yeah.
Go
So I'm
ahead,
gonna
girl.
do 8 and 9 very quickly. So remember that a life well lived is your best revenge.
Mm.
Focus on your wounded feelings and thereby giving the other person that caused you pain and power over you a release.
I want to say something, and that was pretty good. Because, say that again one more time, Corey.
Lord have mercy.
That last piece of it, that last sentence, something about you.
Giving the person that caused you pain and power a release.
Yes. And you mentioned something about right before that.
Well-lived life is your best revenge. Focus on your own wounded feelings by giving the person who caused you pain, or I'm sorry, who caused pain and power over your life a release.
There it is right there. I had a thought, and it was so powerful when she said that because I felt it. It was like, oh God, it was right there. Oh my God, I had it. It was so, just what you just said, worrying about your pain and your power. Gosh, Lord help me, please help me remember. It was on point.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't think of the thought.
Well,
Go ahead.
you think back real quick, because this is what I want to say. Like, and the only way, like, okay, I will say this. A lot of times when I do get life coach clients, they always say, like, you just be keeping it 100. And I'm like, 150, because listen, I am who I am. You're going to get what you get.
Yes.
So when it comes to...
She got that from me.
I did. I got that from you. When it comes to rule 8, like, focus on living your best life, you know, because that's even a saying in a breakup. Again,
yes,
the best way to make your ex mad is to live your best life. Yep. That is so true in so many different aspects. There, like, people think that nobody is watching them. Because they don't, you know, you're regular, nobody's watching you, but that's a lie. You need to live your best self. And the thing is that usually when people hurt you or do something to you and y'all not talking, they are stalking your damn Instagram pages, okay? They on your Facebook page. They are making fake things just to see what you're doing. So you got to make sure for you, your family, but mostly for your haters, that you are walking around here like you Beyonce. I'm just saying. I'm not telling you to put on, but what I mean is to really take a hold of your life and live the best life that you have, because we don't have, I think that when you're a kid, right, we conceptualize life as forever.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's really not forever. Like, just this year alone, I had one of my dearest friends die from a heart attack. Y'all, I just turned 30 in January. So it's not a forever type of life.
Right.
We get moments to prove our readiness for the next step of life. And so you have got to take that rule number 8 and really live by that. Like, not in the sense of you got to put on in front of people, but in the sense of, if I don't make it tomorrow, what the hey have I done that was amazing to me? You know, we got to live with this idea that we don't got no time. We don't know when we're going to go.
No, you're right. And something you said that was really powerful in our last segment is how you really were passionate about everyone living their best life. Nobody should be running around hurt and,
Yeah.
doing all this stuff and anger and everything. So I thought that was like just a very kind thing, that you said.
I
Yeah,
thought about
because
it really quick.
It's the truth,
go.
What's the
Um,
point of living your life miserably when there's just so much to be lived? Like it's ridiculous.
right. Another
So,
thing, I just thought about it. While we're living our best life, even though we've sustained a hurt and we're trying to work through the forgiveness, once we've forgiven, let that thing go and stop romanticizing it. And when I say romanticizing it, I have to remember that yes, you wrote the book, but are you constantly living it? You know what I mean? When I say romantic, when you're romanticizing someone, you talk about it all the time, like you go to sleep with it, you eat it. Oh my God, I've been hurt. Oh my God, this happened. Oh my God. Okay, wait a minute. It's okay to be a life testimony, but are you literally like talking about it to like it's your damn near boyfriend?
oh,
You know what I
wow.
mean?
Okay, like it's
You know,
still just a continuum to something that
right.
may happen, 7, 8 years ago, and you're still really just, I understand what you're saying. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We get, and I have to, like I said, tell myself that yes, I wrote a book and do I have a second book? I need to be able to let that thing go and when you've let it go because you've done the healing and it doesn't hurt you. I have seen people who have written books and they still walk into that, they still speak into that place of powerlessness and that, yeah, I'm still dealing with this. Okay, well, that's your fault. To a certain point, healing comes, but it's after 12 years and you're still dealing with something. Something needs to be looked at. Something needs
Yeah.
to be, why are you still hurting from something that is in the past and it can't even hurt you anymore?
That's when you come see me and we're going to get that
There
thing
you go,
about
right there. That's what I'm talking about. See, because I already got the hook up. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, well, you know what? I can take you this far, but I'm going to send you over here to Corey and let her
Yeah.
work with you.
Mhm.
You
See,
know,
yes.
it's that's so true. And when I wrote, I've written 3 hard copy books and 1 ebook. And it's so funny because like I was working at high school, an English teacher, and all the teachers would be like, would ask me or something, and I would be like, yeah, I got a book out, blah 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 blah. I would just keep talking, and they would be like, oh my God, you got a book out? I'd be like, yeah. To me, it wasn't a big deal because I didn't feel successful because it wasn't a bestseller. You know what I'm saying? But I had to like really understand that like nobody is just out here writing and publishing books, friends.
Yeah.
That's not, so I understand the concept of evolution and evolving in yourself because like, sometimes you can talk yourself into that ditch that you've been in. Keep yourself there because you keep talking about it and you keep letting things happen and you're not moving forward. So I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that because oftentimes you're doing these things and you're speaking. You have spoke life already. And then for everybody else. And then you went back behind in the shadows and spoke against yourself. There ain't no power in that.
Right.
There's no power in that. There's no change in that.
Right.
So like, I totally agree that like, if it's over with, friend, let that thing be over with.
Yeah.
Because we have a
And
tendency of going
it may
back
be
to
a
it.
long process depending on what's happened to you, and what you're
Exactly.
dealing with at your baseline for,
Yep.
your
Right.
own psychology's sake. So I want to get into some concepts. I think we have about
10 minutes.
about 20 minutes left because we're going to go 10 over. We started a little bit late. Christianity. I don't know if you guys are Christian or whatever, but their concept is pretty much forgive others as Christ will forgive you or God will forgive you. Islam is their forgiveness is a prerequisite for genuine peace. So they feel like it's a gross sin and vice when you're angered and in unforgiveness. Buddhism says it's a practice of removing unhealthy emotions that would otherwise harm our mental well-being. They feel that hatred that's left in your your body is a lasting effect on your ongoing karma, meaning like you're just going to be living that every day and nobody wants to. Judaism, I don't know if you know about atonement or whatever, but they feel that forgiveness is considered like a pious act, like it's ridiculous, but it's also forbidden to not accept an apology. So how do you guys feel about those concepts?
I would say they would all they could put it like that, all working together because they're kind of almost saying the same thing. If you were to put all those concepts together, now the one thing I don't agree with as far as the sin of it, because I don't believe personally, after the studies that I've just come into for the last 5 years now, and understanding how source energy works,
Yeah.
I don't believe in the sin because I believe that there's no right or wrong. I believe there's just growth. Outside of that, I do believe that it will affect you. I do believe that it would help you to forgive. If you don't, that's just your lesson in life that you're going to learn. I could go deeper, but that's too much right now because we're not on that something like that. But I believe you take most of what each of those concepts are saying from each of those backgrounds or those religious beliefs, you can merge it into one thing that says all of those things basically, because they're all saying pretty much the same things. It's just coming from a different,
Aspect. Yeah.
concept. Yeah, aspect.
I don't have to accept nobody's damn apology.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
That's where y'all
We're going there. We're going there.
I
That's
thought
what,
that was Buddhism.
do we need the apology? Do
Well,
we
I
need
thought
somebody to
Buddha.
apologize
I
to
mean,
us?
I thought Judaism
Judaism said it's
said.
a sin, but but I don't. That's why I said I don't believe in the sin part of it, because I'm like no,
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was about to jump the gun. I ain't gotta forgive you if I don't want to.
That's what I said. I
Okay,
said
so
most of those concepts will go together, except for that piece of it, because I don't believe in sin. I just
yeah, I
don't.
don't think that. I don't think that. I don't feel that. See, this is the thing. Every damn thing is a sin, right? Everything. Everything a damn sin. Let's be real.
Okay, but who came up
Everything
with the
is a
concept?
sin, right?
If we would go there, who came up with the concept of sin? Who made that up?
Men.
I
Thank
guess
you.
God did.
That's my
Because
point.
God says he forgives us, right?
All
But
I'm saying is,
yeah,
you're not about to tell me I'm gonna get up to the gate and God gonna say, get your ass back because I ain't forgive Robert for breaking up with me in 6th grade. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. That's what I'm
right. That's what we're
saying.
saying.
Exactly. Yeah. All
Robert
that
cheated on me in
is,
6th grade and I didn't forgive
yeah,
him. And guess what? The Lord understood. He know my heart.
that's right.
See,
That's right. No, that's being real. Because, I mean, I'm saying, like, that's why I say all that man-made,
That's what
shame,
I'm
guilt,
saying.
people try to just keep you in chains with that
That's
stuff.
what
And
it
it's
is
like,
right there. Bondage.
that's
It's like,
above me. God has already got my back. I'm done with that. We had to talk. It's over. You know
but the thing
what I'm
about
saying?
it ain't even, that's the thing. I'm like, oh gosh, y'all trying to forever put people in bondage and chains and you're going to hell and you're going to burn
Yeah,
in the lake of fire. It's like, it's bull. I'm crap. This Christian.
it is.
It's a
It
bunch of
is. It is.
hooey.
Absolutely.
You cannot
Yeah.
walk up to me and tell me that I'm in sin. No, you're a liar. And I don't care who it is.
You know, I got a story about forgiveness, y'all.
We're going to get there.
I got a story.
Yeah, we're going to share a short story, all three of us. So, why is an apology important? Do you need an apology? Is it just going to be depending on the degree of the offense? And at what time do you take the offense out of yourself so that you can accept the apology? We might go over, y'all, because I don't know. Let's do it.
I mean,
what was the second part
I
of that
feel like I don't need an apology from a person that that's what I mean about intent. Like if I feel like you drug me to the you just drug me, just dry drug me across the room. Yeah. I don't need you to apologize because if I do the self-work, then I'm going to eventually be over it. And I don't need to hear anything from you. But I will not ever talk to you.
Right.
I'm a Capricorn. I know how to cut it off, friend.
Yeah, yeah.
So it really, but let me tell you, in that same scenario, if the person that I felt like drugged me and gave me a sincere apology, that would be something impactful for my life. Because if I think you intentionally did something to hurt me and then you intentionally apologize, that would be big for me. I still won't fool with you, friend, because,
I don't know. I feel like if somebody has grossly done my life or my person or my children or my family harm, I would never want to, like, I would never allow that person in my space again to give me the apology. I don't need it. I'm somebody that doesn't need an apology for anything because I'm so much of myself that I can validate myself in knowing that I'm okay and that I can separate myself from that other person. And I think that's what a lot of people have a hard time with. And that's why a lot of people go back into them dangerous situations.
Yep.
Because they're not able to validate themselves. They're looking for that person that has
That's what
done
it is.
gross harm to them to validate them.
They want to
And
be vindicated, and they want to
yeah,
make sure that I know and you know that you did me
yeah,
wrong. I understand that. I completely understand that. It's like, so they're looking, no, you owe me an apology because they want
yeah.
to feel within themselves, like you said, validated that I know I wasn't wrong.
That's
But
right. And you get a lot of back and forth with that.
mhm,
Sometimes that kind of stuff can last for years. When
forever.
you're thinking that somebody's giving you an apology, a lot of times they're just trying to drag you back in. That's not sincere. They didn't mean it. What they meant was
Right.
that harm they gave you. So you
Mhm,
Right.
gotta tell, you know?
Exactly.
mhm.
Yeah.
And
So
most
you gotta,
apologies come
yeah,
from
the
the person who's giving it anyway. That should be automatically from them. You know, most times if the apology comes, okay, this is me. I feel like if I've done someone wrong and it's really bothering me, if I have some type of conscience, I'm gonna go and apologize to that person. But if I got to come and beg you or even say you owe me an apology, then that means you don't even feel like you owe me one.
That's what
exactly.
I'm. It's almost like this. Friend, I'm on my own.
You know, I'm not gonna say it unless you say it.
I think yeah.
You know, and I feel like
So
it has no meaning in it. It has no meaning, none, because
so
I had to tell you to
personally,
do it. You didn't
yeah,
acknowledge it. You didn't know you did anything wrong. You know, sometimes people don't realize until after all hell is broke loose, or okay, they're not speaking to me. I don't realize what I did, and then I have to tell you. But then if I'm telling you, something should trigger something. Then I still not gonna ask you for an apology, but I'm gonna tell you what you did if you ask me. If you
yeah.
don't apologize, then that tells me you still in that place, and you're gonna find an excuse as to why you did what you did, or you're gonna figure it out that oh, I fucked up.
Right. So redemption, a short story I have for you.
Hmm.
I lived here in New York 20 years ago, and at that time I was a young adult. I had a situation with a girl who just, was just completely into doing all kind of stuff to me. So here we are, present day, 20 something years later. We ended up at the same job. I had seen her for the first time, and every time I seen her, she would literally like cover her face. She could not look at me. She could not like it was like, damn, like I actually felt bad for her. Like, how are you still living in the shame of what you've done to me 20 years later?
Hmm.
And it's just like, that kind of showed me like, some people actually really do get, what's coming to them. I would never have lived in that shame of what she's done for me 20 years later. And I don't know, I thought that was just like, wow, now we speak a little bit, and it was just like, I wanted to release her from that. Like, sis, that was 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to be enemies. We don't have to, so I was really gentle with her and like, reintroducing myself or, just kindly speaking to her and passing and stuff like that. And so now she looks at me. Now she'll say, hey, how you doing? And stuff like that. And it's just like, wow. So I think sometimes we just go on with our lives, and unfortunately, the people that have done you some kind of gross harm are still living in that shame. And maybe in some ways that's what they deserve, I think. But I'm just saying, 20 years later, I guess I can't see that for myself to be
Right.
you know, but I don't know. I hope that story helps someone. Maybe it doesn't make sense, whatever. Take what you will from it.
Well, I mean, I have a friend story. Like when we were, when I was like, I would just say early, I would say between 20 and 21, 22. And I was one of my best friends from college. And, you know, I was going through my own financial situations, and then her sister was attacked. Now, the same day that her sister was attacked, my mom's car was not totaled, but they came and got it because we couldn't make the payment. Repossessed. And this friend said that I wasn't a good friend. I wasn't there for her. She didn't want to be friends with me. And y'all, it really hurt my feelings. You know what I'm saying? And I had to really like see it from her point of view, because her situation was more severe. You know what I'm saying? Her sister was brutally assaulted. And I wasn't a good friend because I was worried about my mom's car. You know what I'm saying? And yes, we were both going through things, but if it had been me, I would have wanted my friend to be a better friend if my sister was stabbed. You get what I'm saying? So I apologized to her, and she never forgave me. Well, she may have forgiven me, but she was the first person to be like, well, I don't want to be your friend. You're not a good friend. I accept your apology. I know it's coming from a good place, but friend, you're not for me. And that was the first time that I realized, well, and I kept trying. And that was when I kept trying, I didn't understand, like, you know, why she wouldn't be my friend. And then after a while, I was like, I don't want to be your friend either then, friend. Yeah, you talking about? Because at the end of the day, this is what I figured out. We are both human. We both had shit going on. And being poor and not having money is just as much of the issue as your sister. However, I should have been a better friend. But because you don't want to be friends with me no more, I need to accept that. And I had to live with that. You know, I really had a hard time with that. Like, I'm talking about 5 years since it had happened, I was hitting her up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just little things. And I realized that, you know, you gotta listen to understand and not listen to respond. Because that's what you do when you're young. You 18, 19, and 20, you don't know the world. You just getting into the world. You think you know everything, you know? And I lost a friend. And now I'm okay with that. But it took me a long time because I felt like those, like the girl at your job. Now,
Yeah.
I'm damn sure I ain't gonna care 20 years from now, because that's just not me, friend.
Yeah, that's like a Joseph moment, like the story of Joseph, where his brothers
Yeah,
threw him down in the well, and then he
yeah,
redeemed them, you know?
yeah. Like, I'm sorry that I wasn't a good friend, and I know that I'll never do that again. But I feel like you just weren't for me. We obviously weren't for each other, because if you wanted to forgive me, you would have. And you did forgive me, and then you said, no, I don't want to be your friend. So we're just not meant to be. And that means that both of our lives are balanced and equal. But I had to apologize, not for her, but because I felt bad. You know, I felt bad that I honestly hurt my friend's feelings.
Yeah.
And when you and the only good thing about forgiveness is that when you're the person that has to say you're sorry and you do it the right way, if they don't accept that apology, that's not on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I was able to get over it, because I was like, I did the right thing. I did the wrong thing first, and then I corrected it. And it is what it is now.
There it is. Well, I'll give one story of where I was a fitness instructor, and I was just now starting off. It was before I was a fitness instructor, and I was a Zumba instructor in my beginnings on my own. And the person that I was under, you know, something in my spirit was telling me it was time to go, and I wasn't paying attention. And I knew it was time to go. So I told her one time, I said, I'm not going to be here eventually. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. And the longer I stayed, stuff kept happening to me physically. Well, my knee 1 minute, and then I get better. Then my shoulder the next minute. Then the hip the next minute. I'm like, okay. Last time it happened, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Right then I knew it was time for me to make my exit. So I told this person, and I told her, and what was going on. Now, mind you, she was the one that trained me, and I learned from her. And all of a sudden, she wasn't too happy with the fact that I was leaving. She was really upset. But there are some things that had taken place there that made my spirit very uncomfortable. I mean, very uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, fine. It's time to go. She wasn't happy with it, and I can feel it. So, I was still trying to reach out to her because there's some things that I was going through. She didn't say anything, but you could just feel it. There are things I reached out to her for when I was a Zoom instructor. I asked, could I use some of her music or some of her routines? We did a couple together, but there are a couple of routines. She said, yeah, sure, okay. Until I got myself together. Well, okay. She still had been acting really kind of different. Even though I was inboxing her about questions and stuff, she hadn't been answering. I didn't know why. But at one point, she said she had forgiven me because she had really was like, didn't want to even talk to me. I'm like, okay, I wasn't going to force it. And then one day she said she forgave me. Okay. So then I had did a kickboxing commercial, basically what I was doing. And she was asking me, I had used one of the routines. Now, mind you, she said I could use the routines if I needed to. It wasn't a routine I was going to keep. I just used it for the commercial to let people know these are the kind of classes I was going to get started for kickboxing. And she happened to see the little routine. I didn't do the whole thing. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. But so what she did was, because it was posted on Facebook, she put this post out on Facebook about me. I mean, 1 minute it started off, I'm a good person. I'm a business person and I do things business wise. And it went left after that. And it's like, I mean, it went from that to I was taking food out of her kids' mouths, and I'm like, what? I mean, just on Facebook, literally. And I'm just now starting off to try to get classes. And it was, starting to get better. And then this happened. And the whole comment was, well, you did it on Facebook, so you get dealt with on Facebook. And I didn't even know about it. Didn't even know about it until a week later. Now, mind you, the week before that, I was posting about an event I knew she was having, and I was promoting it for her. I'm like, yeah, she's a good coach. She's good. Y'all know y'all gonna have fun about it. And then a friend of mine, and the only reason I didn't get the Facebook post is because she spelled my name wrong. And my friends was like, did you see that post? And what posting are you talking about? So mind you, all of that she said, it broke me something fierce because I never expected her to deal with a situation like that. But at the same time, I mean, she said some really, really, really some cut stuff. It hurt. I mean, it ripped through me. It took me a year to heal from that. Now, mind you, a friend of mine who saw it, she's like, now that wasn't the whole situation. She said, it wasn't just by listening to that. It wasn't that wasn't what it was all about. That wasn't all. So, and that's not true about you. You're not trying to steal from nobody, do nothing. And everyone that saw it was like, why did she even handle it like that? What was that all about? So like I said, a year. And when it happened, I heard something in my spirit say, apologize and end it. I cried forever.
Wow.
Forever. I cried forever. I mean, even after. So what I did was I went right back on Facebook because it's like you put me out there on Facebook. So I went on there quietly as I did, and I said, I reused a song from someone who was my former instructor. It wasn't meant to hurt her. I said, but at the same time, she did say I had permission to use some of her music. I said I wasn't intending to hurt her, and nor am I trying to steal any money out of anybody's mouth to feed their kids. That's not who I am. I said, but in the interim of it all, I learned a lot, and I do apologize. So that was right when it happened. I apologize. Like I said, 6 months to a year, I cried because it hurt me that bad. But today, I can say I learned a lot from it. Like you said, Jasmine, you learn from things you go through. And it's not easy. I felt it could have been dealt with better, but I forgave myself. I forgave her. Nor did I ever get an apology. There was no ever coming to Jesus moment for us or anything, you know. But what got me is when I saw my aunt, when I talked to my auntie, she said she saw her and someone else somewhere. I can't remember where. And come to find out, she said to tell me hi. And I'm like, tell me hi. You ain't said two words to nobody about me, and you want to tell mama, tell me. And a part of me, I'm gonna be honest with you, it was like, tell me hi. And I kind of feel like she just did it because it was my auntie. I don't think she did it because she really wanted me to.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a lesson. Like I said, I learned a lot from it. Some things you don't do and some things you do. But I gained strength from it after all the tears stopped.
See, I'm petty. I would have had the receipts where she said you could use it. Let me go ahead and drop little receipts to the text message, because what you're not going to do is lie.
Well, it wasn't a text message. It was we talked on the phone about it.
Oh, see, you playing. You need to have all text messages. You need receipts in
Like I
2020.
said, I learned lessons. But I don't have any art with her. Matter of fact, when I found out she got married again, I was happy for her. She don't know that, but I don't have art against people. You know, it happened what it happened, but I just knew that it was just God telling me, or my spirit telling me, that
Time to move on.
it's time to move on.
That's good.
And that's okay too.
Yeah. Well, we hope that everyone has gotten something out of this. We discussed many, many different concepts, our personal struggles with it, our personal concepts, and whatever else. So hopefully, that's helped someone to make some kind of decision today about how they want to deal with people. Right now, I'd like to just kind of go around so that we can give our information or any resources that we have, so we can go ahead and close this out.
Well, you can follow me, Coach Jasmine, on Goddess Lane Consulting on Instagram and Facebook. I do have life coach slots open, as well as health coaching. And everything is through Goddess Lane Consulting on Instagram and Facebook. And I hope that I have helped you in any way I can, because, friend, I got tips to get you together.
That's all right. Okay. I have 3 YouTube channels that I want to suggest for y'all. So the first one is, if you can see it, it is Damar's Coaching. If you are going through any kind of abuse or psychological trauma, he is a life coach, but he does have, like, I don't even know, over 100-something videos where he really digs in deep, and it's not blaming and shaming. It is 100% dealing with yourself, your issues, and what you got going on as to why you got yourself in the messed up situation in the first place. So again, that's Damar's Coaching. I hope you can attend, listen to some of his videos. He does a question and answer every Monday, which is super informative. You get to learn about all kinds of disorders. You learn about yourself. The second one is Associate Direct. Depending on where you are in your healing, this might be a good resource for you. He is a bit of a comedian. I love him. He does Instagram videos where everyone just chimes in. He throws on them slow jams, and we're just, vibing out. But most of his work is on narcissistic abuse. Again, depending on where you are in your healing, it's a great resource if you are, pretty far along and want to just vibe with some other people across the world. That's a great resource for you. And the last one is my spiritual father, R.C. Blakes. He does a great work in women's self-growth. He has books, videos, you pretty much name it, seminars. He does it for the ladies, y'all. So I highly advise y'all check him out. The other thing I have is a self-forgiveness workbook, which is actually really great workbook. It just 100% focuses on yourself. If you'd like to have that, I can email it to you. Email me at KAYGUYTON77@gmail. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, you can connect on my Instagram, which is kguyton at Gmail. Or no, I'm sorry, at Instagram. And that's it for me.
All right, everybody. This is also Coach Melvie. And I want to thank everyone for viewing, everyone that came on. We're going to be having more segments coming up. We don't know when. We haven't set any dates. We don't have any subjects or topics. But you can locate me on several different ways. My YouTube is Rebirth Dimension. My Instagram is Rebirth Dimension Holistic. You can also find me on Facebook at Reverend Melvina Ford, or my business page, also Rebirth Dimension Healing, Holistic Healing. So also, if you have a chance, I want you ladies to check out my book. I'm still selling it. If you want a signed copy, please feel free to contact me on one of those places. And I'll give you a second. We'll set up a time for you to make your payment, and we'll send you a signed copy. But the book is called What the Hell? And as usual, what the hell, child? And I am working on getting out segment part 2 of that book as well. So I am excited. Again, I thank you ladies for joining me. This was wonderful. I love you both. This is doing job.
Love you.
I love you all. And we will be doing this again. And we're going to have another coach coming on, Therese Teasley. She is up in the Michigan area. She's also my cousin, but she's a wonderful person. She has a giving soul. You know, she's excited for everything and everybody. And she's always promoting other women and just, you know, giving of her life to everyone else to help them become better. But, and that being said, let's end this segment on a high note. I wish you all prosperity. I wish you all love and peace and joy. And we're gonna your camera just went. So we're gonna go ahead and let her go on one day. But in the meantime, in between time, you guys have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful week. And I love you all. Take care. God bless ya.